Welcome to Sports Bras and Beer. My name is Allie BR. I'll be your host, and today we're talking to a longtime friend of mine, singer-songwriter Kaitlyn Barbee. Let's crack some beers.
I have my White Claw.
Perfect. I'm actually drinking Truly.
Allie.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. I really like the pineapple ones. They're really good.
They are pretty good.
White Claw doesn't have pineapple yet.
No, I have the mango.
Oh yeah, that's the best one.
That is.
Watermelon's a close second though.
Or tangerine. I love tangerine.
You like? Well, I thought you liked the grapefruit though. I thought that was your.
Yeah, but the new case has really taken a hold on me.
The new? What do you mean? Oh, the variety pack 2, you mean?
Yeah.
I know, it's kind of a game changer.
It really is.
Honestly,
it's my favorite.
It's really funny because literally my first question is, "What are you drinking?" You already answered it.
Perfect. Well, we'll just say it again.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, we can just keep rolling on this.
Oh, cool.
What's your? Cool. Is your normal drink White Claw, or do you have like a go-to? Like when you're out.
When I'm out. I mean, lately it's been White Claws just because everything going on. And I've got to say, I was a little hungover this morning because my brother and I just slammed like a whole case of them last night. So.
Nice.
But I'm pulling through for this. But I'll probably drink if I'm out at a bar, I like a Tito's and soda with lime, the classic female beverage.
There you go. You know, one of my favorite things that people say when I'm serving or bartending, people are like, "Could I get a Tito's and vodka?" That's like my. You're like, I miss hearing that. You know?
I know. I miss hearing stupid things, and you're just like.
I miss that. Oh, good
Me
times.
too.
So the second question is, what kind of bra are you wearing at the moment?
I'm wearing a Victoria's Secret, just like a nice. It's like the bombshell bra, but it doesn't have any padding or anything. A nice size B.
Size B. I mean, you didn't have to include that, but thank you.
I'm going to include it all for you.
The internet's gonna love that. Do you have a go-to bra for stage? Because I mean, I do, but I feel like most people don't really.
Well, yeah, yours is the sports bra, right?
Right, but I also just wear that, so I guess it's
that's true. If you were jumping around in a regular bra like this, I'd be like, ah. No, probably
that'd be weird and uncomfortable.
It wouldn't work. Probably this one. It's just tan, or I'll put on if it's a strapless thing, I'll put on little pasties. They just stick. Ooh. Yeah. Getting scandalous.
All right. So just going to completely go in a different direction now.
Okay.
How exactly did you get into music? And where did you start?
I never really know when exactly I started. I started writing probably in 4th grade, and they were god awful. I actually found of course, but I actually found my old writing book, and it's just full of songs of when I thought I was in love. And then, so I did that.
In the 4th grade?
In the 4th grade, yeah. It's quite sad, but And then I was really into theater for a while. And I still love theater. My major was actually in musical theater. So that kind of just pushed my music even more all throughout middle school and high school. But in high school, I really started to develop my writing and writing my own songs and singing my own songs and becoming an artist. So that's high school is when my artistry kind of kicked in.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say when did you decide that you wanted to be a professional musician?
I was in between because I said, my major was musical theater. And so I was either going to move to Nashville or I was going to move to New York City. I was really torn with what I wanted to do. And I spent 2 weeks in New York City, and I called my dad in the middle of Times Square crying, and I said, I cannot live here. And I love New York. It's nothing against New York. It's just not it was too fast, too different. And I fell in love with Nashville. So that's when I kind of decided, okay, we're going to do this.
And New York is like really expensive too. I mean,
my
like
God.
No joke. Like
yeah,
ridiculous.
My friends are like, "Oh, I paid $1,500 a month for this apartment," and it's literally like a shoebox that they're sharing with 4 people.
Right, you pay like $1,500 for like a corner in a room. It's insane.
I'm just like, I can't live like that. I can't.
That's crazy.
I commend anybody who does. It's just not for me.
No. It would be fun to live there. It's just too expensive.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just visit. I'll visit all my friends.
Yeah. So who would you say I know some of your big influences are like Stevie Nicks and Carrie Underwood.
Yes.
Are they kind of your main two, or do you have some other ones
I would say like Stevie is my main, just because everything about her is incredible. Carrie, voice-wise and performance-wise, I love her.
And her legs.
God, I mean, every time I don't want to do a squat, I'm like, you know what? Carrie,
how do they look like that? It's
I don't know.
Insane.
I don't know.
They're perfect.
They're insane. Like so perfect.
So perfect. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I'm sorry. I'm really fixated on
That's all I think about when someone says Carrie Underwood. I'm just like, the legs.
The legs.
They're great.
Like they're phenomenal. Besides, I think being in Nashville, I've really grown to love an artist her name's Carly Pearce. She just released her second album because she was there for like 9 years, maybe longer, before she even got like with anybody. She just kept pushing and going, and so many people told her she was never going to make it. And now she's done it, and she's on like country radio, and she had a #1 single. So it's just kind of her whole like just keep pushing on. That's like a big motivator for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you're from, what's the name of the town in Michigan that you're from?
Heartland, Michigan.
Heartland. So would you call that like a suburb of Detroit, or is it just
near-ish? It's like an hour north of Detroit.
Oh, okay. I thought it was closer for some reason. I don't know why I thought
not too far.
So would you say that there's like, because I know that you go back home sometimes and play shows. Do you play in your hometown, or do you go to the city?
No, I play a lot around the city. Anywhere really in Michigan. Michigan it's amazing, like how supportive they are of live music. They love it up here, which I think is really cool. And it's just fun. Of course I always love playing in Nashville. Every time you play, you're like, I just played a show in Nashville today. So, but when you play it here or anywhere that's not like a huge city, you just kind of, they're so excited. They're just so excited. Like,
yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. They're like, this is a treat. And I'm like, yeah.
Especially like since you're like kind of from Nashville and you live in Nashville now.
It's cool. It's like Nashville-based artists. I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed that there's like, you might not really be into this scene because you live here now, but I've heard that there's kind of a weird like Southern rock thing in Michigan, especially Detroit.
A little bit,
very prominent rock scene up there, which is kind of cool. But I don't know where they got that from. But
I don't either. I don't know.
So how would you describe your sound exactly? Because
I would say like the writing. I think my writing is country, but my music, like the melody and stuff, and all the mix, it's a little poppy. So like country pop, I would say. I'm trying to think of like who to compare it to. But then again, I don't know. It's just me.
Right. And it's like always kind of changing, I think, which is good.
Yeah,
You're always
it does.
Like, constantly doing something different.
Yeah. Obviously, but like, I recorded a cover of House for the Rising Sun that I haven't put out yet. But I just am waiting because I don't know like if I should do it now with everything
going on. Right, I'm waiting
on
that too.
I know. I've been like sitting here. I'm like, should I do it now? I don't know. So, but I do like to just sing a bunch of different styles, and I like to venture into different things. I think that may come from like my theater background a little bit, because I had to do it. I was required to. So I think it's ever changing.
Would you say that like, so for those that don't know, you record like your newest music, at least with Shannon and I. Would you say that recording stuff kind of changes the way, because sometimes we'll change like your arrangement a little bit or switch things around. Would you say it changes the way that you sound as a whole, or the way that you play it on your own when you're on
Definitely.
stage?
I would say definitely, especially I think like Relapse. I've played it so differently, like ever since we recorded it, because it is such like it's a bop. And Ghost too. Ghost was a really one that really like transformed, which I love. Yeah, and it's so fun. I will look back to like that Ghost particularly. I don't know how it came up on like my memories when I had first written it, and it was such like a sad song. it was so depressing. And then, I mean, it is like, it's a bummer of like a scenario, but it's kind of like the way that we made it was kind of like a F you suck. Listen to this kick-ass song about you. Like, you know?
It's also a good way, like whenever you play that song live, it's a good point for you to like stop and talk to people because you're always like, have you ever been ghosted? I always love when you do that. And some people just look at you like, I don't know what that means. And then you have to explain it.
Some people will be like, has anyone ever been ghosted? And then no one says anything. I'm like, cool, just me. All right.
But then they get it when you play the song. Like, I think some people just don't know that term. Like,
that's true.
People,
it's kind of a newer term.
Are less familiar. Yeah, it's like a millennial thing.
It's stupid. It
sucks. So would you say, like, every once in a while you'll play with a full band, which I like love when you play with a full band. Is there a reason that you don't do that all the time specifically, or do you like just playing alone?
I love playing with a full band. I think it's most honestly cost. Because, you know, we're, especially playing in Nashville, you're playing for tips. And that's pretty much it. You don't really get a base pay. And I think in Nashville, too, a lot of the bars, because that's mostly where I'll play, they want acoustic stuff, so they don't have to base pay everybody. So I think it is more of like a cost thing. I would love to play with a band all the time if I could. I think it's so much fun. And it's really cool and to like hear it all come together. But that would be like my main reason. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love it.
Yeah, it does make sense. I was talking about that with someone else the other day. Like, it's hard to find people to just like be with you or be in your band without wanting to get paid because that's such a natural thing. Like, if you lived anywhere else, you probably, they'd be like, sure, I'll be in your band. And they wouldn't expect you to pay them. And here it's like, well, what are you going to pay?
And even when I play up here, I have like a group of people, they'll want like $50 each, which I don't think is that bad. We're in Nashville. There'll be some people that they want you to play for them to play for like 30 minutes. It's like, okay, I need like $125. And no, I can't do that.
That's so expensive. That's crazy.
It is. It's insane. And but I get it. Like, it's hard because of course I get it. Like, they need to make a living too. It is what it is. And I wish that I could do more. I mean, it was the best when it was like my album release shows, those were ticketed. So that was basically paying for them. So it's,
That's good. So I want to go into like songwriting a little bit. For you, like, you write by yourself the majority of the time, for at least for your own stuff. Where exactly you get a lot of your inspiration, obviously,
Ghosted
from men. So, and like exes and stuff. Is that kind of, do you think of an idea first and then kind of start playing, or do you just play and then kind of vibe
I think
out?
I think of like an idea, and it'll hit me at like the most random times. I remember I wrote this song recently called Grow, and I played it a few times out. And I was clocking out of work, and like the whole chorus just came into my head. Like, as I'm clocking out of work, I'm like quietly singing in my voice memo. Have a good day. And I'm just singing.
You got to put it down though, otherwise you might have forgotten it.
And there's so many times when I think, oh my God, that'd be really good, and then I just completely forget it. You think of one little thing about that you can base a song around. It is hard. I was talking to a friend the other day. When you're in such a good place, I feel like it's harder to write when you're in a really happy place in your life, and that's so messed up. Like, but there would be a lot to do with if someone broke up with me, or like I just moved, or things going on in my life. So
for sure.
That makes sense.
It does. It makes perfect sense. So pre-coronavirus and all this craziness, you were playing on Broadway pretty frequently. Usually you had some like frequent gigs that you would play down there. Do you have any like funny stories of any like drunk person like throwing up on you or anything, or like, like, because, for those that don't know what Broadway's like, I'm sure most people do, but it can get kind of nuts down there sometimes.
It can, especially when you're like a girl and you're all alone on stage, and there's a few places I play where like the sound guy isn't around, and so it's just you up there. I'm trying to think. There's been so many weird ones where some like guys will try to come up and they're like, "Can I sing while you play?" And they'll do that all the time. And I'm like, no, you can't. Like that happens all the time, a lot. And it was just so stupid. Yeah. It's really weird. That's like the weirdest thing, I think. I can't think of anything to come up to the top of my head. There'll be like bachelorette parties. So you have to just kind of play to your audience. So I will always play like Backstreet Boys or Spice Girls when they come in. And that's always around. They're like, oh my God, my tune. Or like people will buy you like a shot of whiskey all the time, which is really cool. I haven't had anything crazy though, which is nice. So cool. I got lucky because I'm sure people get just belligerent people. So yeah.
Right. But you usually don't play, like you don't play super late at night, do you?
No, I normally do like midday.
Okay, that's good. That's like a safer time to do it.
Yeah, like I'll do like 11 to 2 or I'll do like a 3 to 7 one. And that's good. That's safe.
Yeah. Still daylight.
Still daylight, you know.
Yeah. People aren't too trash yet, hopefully.
Exactly.
So how did you get into doing that? Do you have like a contact?
Yeah.
A friend or something?
I have a contact. When I first moved to Nashville, like 3.5, 4 years ago, I don't remember. I just went through every single bar on Broadway one day and I emailed them all. I just emailed every single bar with a link to my music. And I didn't hear anything for probably like 2 or 3 months. And I got a random text. It's like, hey, can you play so-and-so from this time to this time? And ever since that guy has been my booking guy and he'll just send me whenever he has available, which was cool. It was cool how that worked out, but it was so random. I was like, oh, sure.
And it's usually like kind of last minute, at least for some places, right?
Yeah, most of the time it's last minute, which is really, I'm lucky to be able to be on the list, but sometimes I have to pack everything and run out or leave work, and which I'm also lucky to be able to, my job is very lenient with that, and to be like, yeah, go, bye. So that's good.
Well, that's good. Would you say like, because I feel on Broadway, there's still a lot more men that play down there than women. Do you think women kind of have a disadvantage or a harder time getting gigs, or do you think it's just more?
I think,
like, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's solely because the men have more popular songs to sing. You know, they have the classic bar songs, and girls, we play other things. There was a time where I was playing a steady gig, and the owner didn't like what I was playing because it wasn't all these original, like the list of 50 songs. And so I think it is harder for girls in that aspect. And it just, I don't know. And it's bizarre to me. You see more guys like up and down, and maybe it is because there's bachelorette parties there, so they want guys singing. Right. It is harder though. I will agree with that. Yeah, I can say that. Yeah.
Because I'd prefer to like see a woman singing down there because I like it better. But I think it's kind of like the guys kind of sing the same stuff. You know, they all sing, like you said, the same songs. You can
hear Friends with Low Places. If you're just walking down Broadway, you'll hear it like 5 times. Friends in Low Places.
Or what's that? Wagon Wheel? Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, God.
I fucking despise that song now.
People will ask me to play it, and sometimes I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I don't want to.
I know, it's just like, dude, go next door.
You'll find it somewhere else.
Keep walking, you will find it, like guaranteed.
You cannot find it.
I one time counted on Broadway in like a 3-hour time frame. I counted how many times I heard it because we were like constantly going to different bars, and I heard it at least 25 times.
It's insane.
In 3 hours.
It's so dumb.
Ridiculous.
It's so and then at the end of the night you hear Don't Stop Believin' a lot.
I hate that song now too. I used to like it, and now
it's just like
yeah, too much. So for Broadway stuff, do you have to do like, does each place give you kind of a list of songs they want to hear, or types of songs, or are they just kind of like whatever you
There was a bar that I did play at once. It's like one of the more popular bars on Broadway. And I did it only once because I was just, they wanted me to like quit my day job and just I have to wake up every morning and call and try to get a gig. It was really weird. And I said, no. And they didn't pay you anything, like no base pay. And it was ridiculous. And they gave me a list of 150 songs, and they said, these are the only songs you can play unless there's someone requests that you play something else. You can't play any original songs. People want to hear what they want to hear. And so that was just insane to me. But then where I normally play is on 2nd Avenue, like right around the corner from the actual Broadway strip. And they don't care, which is really cool. They're like, play your original songs, play whatever you want to play. Like, people want to hear that. I fully believe that people do want to hear original stuff. I think so.
Especially earlier in the day, because those are like the day drinkers, like want to hear your own stuff. It's like the night crowd that wants all the covers.
Night crowd's like,
so when you're playing like brunches and yeah. So do you like learn all those songs ahead of time and practice them, or do you just kind of wing it?
I'll kind of have them and I'll play them once through. I have like the Ultimate Guitar app on my phone, and so I just set that up. And you can just look up anything and wing it. So, which is really convenient when people request stuff, because then you're like,
right. That's what I wonder. It's like, oh, I don't know how to play that, but I'll try.
When I first moved, I didn't think about it, and so I only knew my songs, and I was like, oh, sorry, I can't play that. Then I was watching all these people with their little phones on the mic stand, and they're like, yeah, 1 second. It's like, I gotta do that.
See, I could never do something like that. That's too much pressure.
You're like, no.
Nope. So what about cover songs for your own personal, like for recording? Obviously, you mentioned House of the Rising Sun, but what do you, as far as recording stuff goes and putting things out for your own self, how do you decide what song?
Like for like doing Instagram stuff too, or just like recording?
Yeah, all that stuff.
I don't know. I just kind of, there'll be songs that really are hitting me and I want to make them my own. I try to always make them different than what the original recording is, because I like it to be different, and I think that's cool.
Yes, me too. I hate it when people just release the same thing. Like Weezer did with Africa. It's like the same song. That's so dumb.
Exactly. I'm like, change it up a little bit. Like, do something. Like, I love to do Creep by Radiohead. I love doing that one. Mm-hmm. And I make it really different. Any Fleetwood Mac, I'll try to make a little different. So I just kind of pick what's stuck in my head lately, or I'll just play through a bunch of stuff and see what I think sounds good and what I think people will enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. So when you finally did decide to move to Nashville instead of New York, did you like know anyone here, or did you?
No, I didn't know a soul, which was like, it was awful. It was the first few weeks I was alone. I had just got out of a really bad breakup at the time too. And I didn't really have a job lined up yet. I just kind of was going through, and then I started at a restaurant near my house. It was just nice to meet people. But then I started at BMI in sales, and that was a lot of people, Shannon, and a lot of people my age. Not Shannon. Shannon's not my age.
Everyone but Shannon. He's gonna kick my ass if I leave this on here, so I'm probably gonna leave it.
Exactly. I'm like, are you kidding? You guys still managed to put a joke in?
Of course. I mean, there'll probably be at least one. Of course.
We always do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started there, and that's when I met all of my really good friends to this day, which was super nice. Because I mean, I think that everyone that moves to Nashville, for the most part, you don't really know anybody when you first come there, which is cool. True. I think it's really, really cool.
If you don't mind, if you want to talk about BMI just a little bit and like what they do for people that don't know.
So BMI, it's Broadcast Music Incorporated. So they basically are just ensuring that songwriters are getting paid for the music that they have written, and it's getting played on radios. It's getting played in bars. If there's live music at bars, our job was in sales, so we had to make sure that they had the license in order to play those. So songwriters can either sign up under BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC as their songwriting.
Right. But I think what you guys did was almost like, I don't think BMI is going to hear this, but what you guys had to do was kind of like sucky, because you had to like tell bars that they had to buy something that they actually don't have to buy and like threaten to sue them. It was kind of like
it was scary. It was really scary. And I think even like we had to just cold call all day. And say like, do you guys have any live music? Do you guys play any music there? And hope that someone says, yeah, actually. And we're like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah. And then you get a lot of angry people when you call, and I would never ever again want to do a calling job like that. And I don't know how people do that. I would be so defeated at the end of the day with people just yelling at me all day.
Oh yeah, Shannon hated it too, but there is one good thing I always tell him. Like, we met so many good people because he worked there, like you and Rachel and Taylor and all those people. Like you guys made really good friends.
We did. I'm so incredibly thankful that all worked out that way, because that's the majority of my friend base in Nashville. And I'm really thankful for that. Yeah. And none of us work there anymore.
Oh, fuck no. So I'm going to take a quick left turn here. I want to ask you about your Friends obsession.
Oh, yes.
And how your cats are named after Friends characters.
Yes. I am completely 100% obsessed with Friends. I have, thanks to you guys, I have like 3 board games, one from Shannon and Allie. My house is kind of decorated in Friends form. And my cats are named Phoebe and Chandler. And I'm not ashamed.
I wouldn't be either. I just thought it was a fun fact.
It is a fun fact. It is.
What was it? I think a few years ago, or a year and a half, maybe 2 years now, you opened for 1,000 Horses. How exactly did that come about?
Nash FM up here, it's not around anymore up here, which is really upsetting. But before I moved to Nashville, I did the Nash Next competition they do every year. And I caught the eye of one of the producers. His name is Robbie Bridges. And he really liked me. And so every time there was a Nash FM gig up here, he would try to get me on there. And one of them happened to be opening for 1,000 Horses. And he asked me if I'd want to do it. And I said, hell yeah. And it was it was on an Air Force base, and it was like 5,000 people. It was the coolest thing ever. And then we got to hang out with them afterwards. They're really cool guys. Robbie Bridges, he did a lot for me. Nash FM up here did a lot for me, because I also last year opened for Runaway June, and that was through them as well. So they kind of set me up with a lot of good things up here.
That's awesome. Would you say that gave you like some more fans or like Instagram followers?
Yeah, it did. It did a little bit. It's hard. It's really like the whole Instagram thing and like getting the followers and the fans, but it did. It was good. And then I did like a signing afterwards, and people actually wanted a picture with me, and I was like, that's so cool.
That is cool. That's awesome.
It was really cool. And we had they gave us a trailer backstage, and we're just feeding us beer and all this. It was so cool. My brother loved it. There's a story of.
Did you get like a? Oh, sorry.
So they asked us before. They're like, "What kind of beer do you want? Like, what food do you want?" And
you got we got a
writer and everything. It was so cool. But they didn't put a lot in our trailer at the beginning. And my drummer Dalton, he's so outspoken, and he plays so many shows. He told them, they're like, is there anything else you guys need? And he was like, yeah, we need more beer. Like, this is not going to be enough, because we have a full band. My cousin and her husband were there because she was doing my hair and makeup. And so they would come by on golf carts and always check in and see if we needed more beer. And at one point they came by there and go, you guys good? You need more beer? And my brother said, yeah, we're good. Thank you. And my cousin's husband hit my brother across the head and goes, Jacob, what the hell is wrong with you? You never say you have enough beer. And at the end,
especially if it's like free, right? Like, take it.
And hell yeah. Ben is his name. He brought his cooler from his truck, because he just always has one. And he filled up all that was left and left. I was like, Ben.
That's how you like take control of
he was so excited.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. Did they give you like anything else on the ride, or did you get like food
We
and
got
stuff, or was it
food.
just
We
like
got food.
beverages?
A whole trailer. When they were like, if you guys want to sleep here tonight, you can.
Oh
It
shit,
was
that's
really.
cool.
We didn't know, like, because we had a hotel instead, but we had no idea. And when we got there, they said that, and I was like, oh my god! But they did that. We drove around on like a golf cart around base to like they took us everywhere we needed to go. It was really cool.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's like the ultimate rock
it
star
really
experience.
was.
That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. So obviously that was like on the top of the list, but what are some other places that you've played? Like you played in New York and you played in Chicago, if you want to talk about that a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
played last summer. I did a few cities because I released my EP Bold last March, and I played at this little place called The Store in Chicago, and it was really cool space. And the room, because you walk in and it kind of looks like a dive bar. So at first I was like, oh god, how's this going to be? And then there's a room off of the bar where it's a little room with like a little stage and then a little bar. And we filled the room, and which is cool. It was so small because it felt so intimate and just it was awesome. And that was really cool. Everyone's so nice. And that one was cool too because there's a lot of people I didn't know of, and that some people found me on Instagram. Some people just walked in, and they were super like they wanted to know all about it. They were super cool. So that was Chicago was really neat, and then New York was it was at Rockwood Music Hall, which is so pretty, and we filled that too. It was what I loved about that was it was all of my friends that I had from college, my musical theater majors friends that moved there. And they all came, it was like a reunion. It was so much fun. And they were all singing my song Fire that came out when I was in college. And that's like their jam. And they're all just screaming it. It was.
We should re-record that one.
We really should.
Re-release
Do
it.
Fire revamped. They would flip out.
Yes. Revamp just for them.
Yeah,
just so they can
give it to
it.
them.
That'd be
sweet.
So how did you get those shows? Was it just from having friends up there? Is that how you booked them? Did they tell you where?
I did. I looked up places like online. Spent a few weeks just looking at different places that were small because I didn't want anything too big because I want to make sure it looks full.
That's what she said. Sorry, I had to throw that.
That was a good one.
Sorry. Sorry, continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail you.
No, it was great. And then I just emailed them all, a bunch of them until someone responded, and I just snagged it. So, yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. That's kind of how you have to do it nowadays. Is just
and constantly, like every other day, just like, hey, just checking in.
Well, that's one thing with like Nashville, especially. I feel like to book a show here, other than like your Broadway stuff, if you just want to do a regular show, people just ignore emails at venues.
I know.
It's so irritating.
When I was doing my album release show down there, it was just so stressful to find one. And then you get so excited when somebody responds. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah. Even if they just respond with like more questions.
Yeah.
Like, yes, finally.
At least you have
I got a response.
Yeah.
Right. And like, because I tried to book the Analog Room once where you did your release show, and I emailed this lady like 4 times, never heard back, tried to call her. They literally told me that I could not speak to her on the phone. That was not like permitted. I was not allowed. I had to email her, and I was like, okay, well, she doesn't answer her emails, so.
It's hard.
And people get like mad if you call. They're like, oh, you can't call. I'm like, why?
Yeah. They don't. And I think that maybe it's because they have so many people emailing them constantly, I guess. That's true. I don't care. It's annoying.
It is yeah, it's like, all right, get someone else reading the emails or something. Like, get on it because it's Nashville. Like,
you have to figure it out.
I don't know. So would you say that Nashville is like everything you imagined it would be, or is it better or worse?
Oh, I love Nashville. I've grown to really, really love it. I think though more so, I just love the people that come there. And I, again, think it's because everyone has come there from a different place. No one's really from Nashville. And you're just looking for like a Nashville family wherever you are. And so everyone supports each other, which I was really I was shocked by, because in New York it's very cutthroat and like, well, I'm more fit for this part than you are, so whatever. And where Nashville, it is, people are really helpful if you find the right people. They're really helpful and friendly, and I've grown to really love just like the family base in Nashville. And I think even after watching from the tornado that hit last month, just watching everybody come together and work towards it, I don't know, it just kind of shows how much like heart is in the city that I was not expecting.
Yeah, that was crazy how many people came out to
it was amazing.
Donate and volunteer. Yeah. It was insane. Like by our place, you know, there's that Target and stuff. There, one Saturday, I was like driving to work, and there were cars literally filled in that entire parking area, and there were people parked on the grass and shit to go across the street to help rebuild those houses. It was insane.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
And there was like 17 dudes just walking with chainsaws across Lebanon Pike. Like, this is normal.
And they're just like, whatever, let's go.
It's crazy.
I know. It's very cool.
It is very cool. I always tell people it's weird. It's such a big city, but it's also like there are so many people that you think you'll never see again in Nashville, and you just run into them like 30 seconds later.
All the time. Like all the time.
Yeah, I know. It's great, but also kind of irritating.
It is, because sometimes you don't want to see people and you're like, damn it, bless.
It can be really awkward.
I know.
Because you think you wouldn't, because it's pretty huge. Like, it's pretty big.
And there's a lot of places to go. There's a lot of places to go. So how are we constantly like running into people? It's a big city with a small town feel.
How do you determine, because a lot of people that move down here, they're like, oh, I'm going to be a songwriter. Oh, I'm going to be in a touring band. How did you determine that you wanted to be like the main artist and a songwriter? Like,
I just really love them both. I just really enjoy doing it. And I've learned, I went through like a point after my EP when I released it. I was a very now what point. And I felt really kind of defeated. It was weird, but I wasn't loving it anymore at that point. And I've learned to really enjoy doing both of them. Even if there's only 5 people in the room, because I like playing. I like playing my own things. Because I think too, it's just, I can relate to it more. It's hard to relate to a song that somebody else wrote that you took and made. I don't know. I love playing my own stuff and really feeling it. It's really therapeutic for me. And it's fun to share.
Yeah. I do think it's weird when like a lot of these bigger artists, like no offense to them or anything, but they'll take songs that like 6 people wrote and they maybe like changed a line or two, and it's like, doesn't that feel kind of weird? Like, I feel like it would feel weird because singing should be like such a personal thing, and you're taking someone else's like poetry. Yeah. I don't know. It seems weird to me.
Yeah,
too.
I just find it's very therapeutic and very personal. Yeah,
absolutely. Because it would be weird if you wrote a song about your ex. I mean, it'd be great if someone took it and recorded it, but it'd be weird if they're like singing a song about your ex that they don't know, like they don't really know where.
If they never were ghosted and then they sang Ghost.
Yeah. They don't know the truth.
They don't know what happened.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So if you could do a co-write with anyone in the world still alive, who would it be?
Stevie Nicks.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. That'd be cool, though.
God, that'd be so really cool. Fun. I feel like she would just have so many philosophical things to say.
Oh, yeah. And then she'd just disappear out of the room. There'd be like a puff of smoke. like where'd she go?
When someone comes in and like, you're writing it, your session is over. I'm like, okay.
She'll be in touch.
Yeah, I think she just
and you just smell patchouli. Yeah,
she just proves through all of it though. I've always thought, should I co-write more? Should I co-write with more people and all that stuff? And while of course it does strengthen I don't know. I always look back to how she wrote Landslide all by herself, and
that's crazy. That's such an epic song.
Exactly. So I'm like, you don't need to have 5 writers in the room to write an epic song. You don't. So
yeah, you're absolutely right.
I just always remember that.
Do you like co-writing with people, or do you feel like almost kind of you're forced to because it's such a Nashville thing?
I like it. It depends who I co-write with. There are a few people I do enjoy it with. I don't know though. I never I think it's hard for me because I never would set aside time. Like I would never be like, oh, I'm going to write this Thursday at 3:00 when I write for myself. I'm very much like, I feel something, I'm going to go write it down in 15 minutes and then come back to it and edit it later. And that's just kind of the way that I do it. So it's hard for me to kind of get myself like in the mindset to write when I'm driving there. I'm like, okay, you're going to go sit down and write. It is a very Nashville thing. It's nothing that I had ever known about until coming here and seeing all that. So I don't dislike it,
right?
But it's not my favorite.
Right. I don't really like writing with other people, but I just never really have. And I feel like if you went to like LA or New York, it's not, co-writing isn't as much of a thing. Like here, it's like a huge thing. It's
giant.
Like co-writing and demos are just like a huge business now.
And it's like, if you don't have like 3 co-writes this week, then you're not doing your job as a songwriter. And it's just,
I almost think like for someone like you, it's almost more beneficial to just play on Broadway because you want to be like seen and heard, and that's a great way to do it.
Keep playing,
yeah, just keep playing as many shows as you can. I think that's way more beneficial. Especially if you like it more.
Exactly.
So this is like a random thing. I don't know if you heard the episode that I have released with Becca. She just randomly like threw in a quote. And so I've just been asking everyone what their favorite quote is because I kind of like that. Do you have a quote that you did?
I mean, because I just talk about her so much. I have it tattooed on me. From Steve, from Landslide. So, surprise. From Landslide, time makes you bolder.
Oh, nice. That's good. Is that why you called your EP Bold? Because of the boulder? I just now realized that. I just thought it was, I don't know, I didn't put 2 and 2 together until this very second.
There it is.
It makes sense. Wow, all right.
It's all coming together.
Cool, I like that though. Of course, it's
What's
Stevie
your
Nicks,
favorite
perfect.
quote?
Oh,
no one asks you the questions, Allie.
Oh shit! I guess it would probably be if we're quoting songs, it would be I don't give a damn about my bad reputation. So I've somehow managed to talk about Joan Jett in every single episode so far. Well, that's all I had.
Thanks for having me.